Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into another fascinating topic.
Absolutely. Always excited to explore new ideas.
Today, we're tackling something super relevant, especially with the holidays just around the corner. We're talking holiday fitness.
Ah, yes. The time of year where delicious temptations and cozy nights in seem to clash with those fitness goals.
Exactly. And to guide us through this tricky terrain, we've got some interesting source material. It's structured like, well, a fitness podcast episode, which I think is kind of fun for our deep dive
A
today.
podcast within a podcast. I like it. So, are we going to be your virtual personal trainers today?
You got it. We'll be sharing tips and strategies for staying on track. So think of this as your pocket-sized guide to navigating those holiday parties and those delicious, tempting treats.
Sounds good to me. Where do we start?
Well, the source material kicks off by talking about the importance of setting realistic goals. What's interesting is it doesn't emphasize drastic changes or anything.
Right. It's more about maintaining that fitness level you've already achieved rather than, trying to make huge leaps forward during a time that's already pretty hectic.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Small wins are key, right?
Absolutely. Because, let's be honest, the holidays are all about enjoying time with loved ones, indulging a little bit, just kind of relaxing and recharging. So, it's about finding that balance.
And speaking of balance, they also talk about being flexible with your fitness goals. It's like instead of having, a rigid workout schedule that you might stick to during the rest of the year, it's about thinking of it as a fitness advent calendar.
A fitness advent calendar. I like that.
Yeah. With like little achievable daily challenges.
Yeah.
So, maybe one day it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator, and the next day it's adding extra 10 minutes to your walk.
That's a great way to look at it because, during the holidays, your routine might get thrown off completely. You might be traveling, you might have house guests, you might have all these extra commitments.
Oh, absolutely. And that can make it really tough to stick to like a super strict routine.
hmm
But by having these many challenges, it's like you're still staying active, you're still mindful of your fitness goals, but you're not putting a ton of pressure on yourself.
I think a lot of people will appreciate that approach, especially during a time when there's already so much pressure to do everything perfectly.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered setting realistic goals and being flexible. But let's be honest, one of the biggest challenges during the holidays is, well, the food.
Oh, yeah. Everywhere you turn, there are delicious temptations. Cookies, pies, those festive cocktails. It's hard to resist.
It really is. And our source material, thankfully, has some really clever tips for navigating all of that. It boils down to this little phrase: veggies first, savor, skip seconds, small treats.
Catchy, right? I like how they made it easy to remember.
Me too.
Yeah.
But it's not just about being catchy. It actually taps into like a psychological principle. What was it called again? Anchoring.
Anchoring, exactly. And basically what that means is that when you start your meal by filling up on, nutritious high fiber veggies, you're setting a baseline for yourself.
So we're not just like, diving head first into the mashed potatoes and gravy. We're strategically starting with the good stuff. I can see how that would make a difference.
It really can, because those veggies, they fill you up, they provide all those essential nutrients, and they can actually help you feel more satisfied, so you're less likely to overindulge on, the less healthy options later on.
That makes total sense. And it's a good reminder that, enjoying holiday food doesn't have to mean completely derailing your healthy habits. It's all about making conscious choices. Speaking of conscious choices, the source also mentions the 80-20 rule. Now, this is a pretty popular concept in the fitness world, but just in case our listener is hearing it for the first time, could you break it down for us?
Sure. The 80-20 rule is a guideline. It's not a strict rule, but it suggests that roughly 80% of your food choices should be those nutrient-rich whole foods that we've been talking about: fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains.
Okay, so the good stuff, got it. And the other 20%?
Well, that's where you allow yourself some flexibility for those indulgences. So, that slice of pie, that holiday cocktail, those special treats that you only get to enjoy this time of year.
So it's not about deprivation, it's about finding that balance.
Right, exactly. It's about enjoying those holiday favorites without, going completely overboard. But it's important to remember that this is a general guideline, and individual needs can vary depending on your specific goals.
That's a good point. Like, if someone is really focused on building muscle, for example, would they adjust that 80-20 ratio?
Absolutely. If you have specific fitness goals, you might want to adjust your macronutrient intake. So, that's the breakdown of proteins, carbs, and fats to support those goals.
Makes sense. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about tailoring it to your individual needs.
Exactly.
Now, the source material also talks about the importance of staying active during the holidays. And I love this suggestion, turning those holiday chores into a calorie-burning dance party. Put on some music, decorate the house, and get moving.
That's such a fun idea. It's all about finding those little ways to sneak in some extra activity.
Exactly. And they also talk about, family activities like going for walks together after dinner.
Oh, I love that idea. It's not only good for your physical health, but it's also a great way to bond and create some new traditions. And, getting some fresh air after a big meal can be really refreshing.
Totally agree. It's a win-win for everyone. But now, shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about the mental side of things, because managing stress and staying motivated during the holidays, that can be tough. And our source material, it really emphasizes the importance of sleep.
Yeah, sleep is so crucial for both our physical and mental well-being. And, during the holidays, it can be easy to let our sleep schedule slip. We're staying up late, wrapping presents, baking cookies, catching up with friends and family.
And that can really take a toll. So what's the connection between sleep and, staying on track with our fitness goals?
Well, when we're sleep deprived, our willpower takes a hit. We're more likely to crave those sugary treats. We're less likely to want to exercise. And, we just don't have that same level of energy or motivation.
So getting enough sleep, it's not just about feeling rested, it's actually a key part of staying healthy overall.
Exactly. And stress management goes beyond just sleep. The holidays can be a very emotionally charged time for a lot of people. There's pressure to create the perfect holiday experience. There are financial stresses. And for some people, there can be a lot of sadness or loneliness.
That's a really good point. So what are some practical tips our listener can use to manage stress during this, sometimes chaotic season?
The source suggests incorporating mindfulness techniques. Even taking just a few minutes each day to practice deep breathing or meditation can make a huge difference.
Those are great accessible tools that anyone can use.
Exactly. And, another important aspect of stress management is setting boundaries. Learning to say no to certain commitments, not overextending yourself, making sure you're prioritizing your own well-being.
I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, especially during the holidays. We want to make everyone happy. We want to do everything, and it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to be mindful of your own needs and to make sure you're taking care of yourself.
So it seems like the overall theme here is finding that balance between enjoying the festivities and maintaining those healthy habits. It's not about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices that support your overall well-being.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And you know what? These strategies, they're not just for the holidays. These are things we can all incorporate into our lifestyles year-round. It's about building sustainable habits that work for you.
Absolutely. And on that note, as we wrap up this deep dive into holiday fitness, we'd love to leave you with something to ponder. What one small change from this conversation will you try this holiday season? It could be incorporating those mindfulness techniques, tweaking your approach to those delicious holiday meals, or maybe committing to those family walks after dinner. Whatever resonates with you, give it a try and see how it impacts your holiday experience. And until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
Happy holidays.